Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Hey officers, can any of you tell me why people are being arrested here? Guys, can any of you tell me why people are being arrested just for speaking their minds? Any of you? Were you the guys that went to Adamson's barbecue back in November? Well, as they say down at Woodbine Racetrack, and they're off. I guess they got a walkie-talkie call. Someone's probably illegally opened a barbecue joint. We have a program called Fight the Fines. If you want to, we can take on your case. We can put you in touch with a top-notch criminal lawyer. We will crowdfund your legal fees. What do you think about that?
Sure, we can do that.
David Menzies for Rebel News here at Queen's Park in Toronto. And you know, folks, whenever I come to Yonge Dundas Square or Queen's Park, I get a flashback to when I was a kid watching those old nature films, you know, where they go to the African Serengeti and they have a pride of lions stalking a massive herd of wildebeest. And the thing is, even when you're the king of the jungle, a wildebeest makes for quite a daunting prey. And so it is that you see the lions, they pick out the young, the old, the sick, the weak. And I get a deja vu feeling when I go to Yonge Dundas Square in Queen's Park here, because we have the police in the role of the lions, and we have the protesters in the role of the wildebeest. And what happens is you see these men and women of law enforcement. I know it kind of looks like the beginning of the Tour de France in February here. They're not looking for the sick and the old and the weak and the infirm, but rather they're looking for the big mouths. They're looking for people that hold signs. They're looking for people that speak into a megaphone. Because in Tyrant Tory's Toronto, that is apparently against the law. And so it is, these police descend upon the so-called big mouths. They ticket them, they arrest them, they throw them in a paddy wagon, and they prey upon their charter rights. And it's just coming up for noon when the protest begins. I don't see hardly any protesters here. The cops have already dropped the gauntlet, saying you congregate in more than 5, you're playing with fire. And it's absolutely despicable because just last Sunday, Valentine's Day, we were in Ottawa, and the various police services there, the Ottawa Police Service, the RCMP, the OPP, the Parliamentary Police Service, they allowed hundreds of protesters to gather on Parliament Hill. Nobody was ticketed. Nobody was arrested. So why is that? Why can I do that in Ottawa in this province and not in the home of the legislature here at Queen's Park? And why is it, again, I still don't have an answer, and I'm going to seek to get this question answered today, that these very same officers threatening us with arrest and hauling away elderly women, for God's sakes, not only turned a blind eye to Black Lives Matter protesters, but even bent the knee, including the former chief of police. Same place, same time, same virus. What's the difference? Well, I'm going to hopefully try to get an answer to that question. So, officer, I don't know if you heard me. I'm just wondering why it is that people can protest on Parliament Hill as they did last Sunday and not get arrested. And so you guys...
Right there, you can refer to our corporate communications, okay?
Yeah, you know, they're not here and you are.
No, I'm not going to comment.
You're not going to comment?
No, I'm not going to.
You don't have a mind? You don't have an opinion?
Sir, corporate communications, okay?
Yeah.
40 college. You just go to 40 college.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that.
Like Young and College.
Corporate communications isn't hauling away people into paddy wagons, okay?
Okay. I have the answers for you, sir.
You guys, okay, what would their answer be?
Well, we can't speak with them.
Hold a second, no, wait a minute. The rank and file, wait a minute. Officer, with all due respect.
On the north side of college, at Young and College, all your answers that you may have right now, and I know that you have a lot, will be answered by corporate communication.
Corporate communications did not bend the knee to Black Lives Matter. You did.
If you just go over there, all your questions will be answered.
Yeah.
If you want those questions answered, that's where you would go.
Well, listen, you are the muscle here. you're about to look for anyone with a placard or a megaphone and violate their charter rights. Why is that? Why in Toronto are these people arrested, and in Ottawa, all 4 police services there had no problem?
As we have mentioned, sir, you can find all your answers in the corporate communications at 40 College Street. Okay?
Well, there you go. I may as well be interviewing a Coca-Cola vending machine. Ease not my job, as Chico Rodriguez used to say on Chico and the Man. Go to corporate communications. I'll try some more. Maybe there is somebody that has the spine to answer these questions. Hi, officer. I'm just trying to get an answer to the question that, why are you arresting people here in Toronto when last Sunday, Valentine's Day, hundreds of protesters gathered in the same province? Nobody was arrested.
Sir, with all due respect, you've gotten information from the officers that were here and you already spoke to them. To go to corporate communications, they will speak to you, they will advise you, and you can have a dialogue with them in regards to some of the concerns that you have.
Okay. Well, corporate communications wasn't bending the knee to Black Lives Matter protesters. You guys were, the rank and file and the then chief. Why is that?
Again, they've got a job and they'll have that dialogue with you if you have that conversation with them. You're coming over here is you're going to have the same results from every officer here, and that is that we're going to be ensuring that everyone is going to be safe here and make sure that at that point there's going to be no groups of 5 gathering, and we're doing the best that we can to ensure the safety of the city.
Oh, well, if you're looking for a group of 5 gathering, I suggest you go to a Toronto Transit Commission streetcar and you'll see 5 times 10 gathering in those vehicles. Why not do a mass arrest there, officer?
I appreciate your question, but again, I'm going to refer you to 40 College Street, and you can smile all you want, and I appreciate that. I understand you have concerns and you want to debate this and you want to have a conversation, but we do have officers ready to have a conversation with you at 40 College Street.
You know, officer, we do tend to back the blue. I have to say, your behavior recently is making it increasingly hard for us to do so. I don't think you and all these officers, I don't think you ever signed up for this, to stomp on the charter rights of Canadians. I want to get an idea, who's pulling the strings? Is it Mayor Tory? Is it Premier Ford? Who is telling you to act like this? Who is telling you to disobey your oath?
Sir, again, I'm going to refer you to corporate communications to have this conversation, and we're going to continue this all day long. I don't want to be disrespectful to you. You seem like a very nice gentleman and a very good interviewer, but at the same time, I'm going to have to refer you to 40 College Street to have that conversation with corporate comm, and at that point, you can have a dialogue. You can sit down and discuss every concern that you have, and they'll do the best that they can to assist you and your viewers at the end of the day.
David, I would like to ask the police a question.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, they don't talk to me, sir. Maybe they'll talk to a citizen.
I'd like to ask them a question. Have any of them visited any funeral homes in the last 14, 15 months? And if they actually do visit them, and I have, and if they ask the funeral home directors, how was business last year? They're going to say business was exactly the same as the year before, except we had a lot more suicides. So how is it possible, if we're in a pandemic and we're told by the media and the crooked politicians that we're in a pandemic, but no more people are dying? How is that possible?
Would any of you officers like to answer that question? I mean, they're putting monks to shame in terms of the vow of silence. I see where you're getting at, sir. We know from a recent study by the Canadian Mental Health Association that 10% of Canadians considered suicide. That's not to say they're carrying out that, but 10%. To put that in perspective, in a non-pandemic year, it is typically 2.5%. It is a 4-fold increase. So I think you're right. When we look at all these other factors, unemployment, businesses going bankrupt, people committing suicide, spousal abuse, if you can believe it, drug overdoses, I think there is much fodder there to suggest that the so-called cure is far worse than the curse.
Right. I'm wondering how these police go home at night and look themselves and look their kids in the mirror and say, I've done a good job today because I helped increase the suicide rate, because I'm just a weak little pathetic follow orders person, and I will not protest in my own organization because I'm afraid of what will happen. Thank you.
Well, sir, like I said, we tend to back the blue, and I don't think they are here on their own volition. I think there is political forces behind this. The cowards are the ones like Tory and Ford and the rest of our elected officials that won't come out and face the music. These good police officers are doing the dirty work. They're doing stuff they never signed up for. I would like to think that's true.
Well, I would hope that they would have the guts to go to their superiors and say, I won't have it. I won't do it. And you fire me, and I've got a whole bunch of us who will be fired, and that will rain down on you like a storm if you do that to me. So I challenge you, all you policemen, to have some guts and do something about this.
Are you going to leave, sir?
Yeah, I'll leave eventually.
No,
Sorry, what's going on, David?
Oh, just here to cover this, sir. Was the officer saying that you have to leave the Queen's Park here? I mean, it's kind of ironic. We're literally in the shadow of the cenotaph that commemorate the brave soldiers who gave their lives defending our freedoms. How free do you feel right now, sir?
Not very free at all, actually. I mean, especially when officers are going against their federal regulations through the Bill of Rights, right? Yeah. That's what this is about. They're federally regulated through the Bill of Rights, and now they're taking our rights, and there has been absolutely no justification, and there has been no federal act of parliament to justify what these police are doing. None.
And I'm free. I'm son of God, and I'm free.
I understand that, sir. Okay, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to ask for something with your identification on it at the end of the day.
I am son of God.
Okay, sir.
That identification who you asking me before I gave up. I gave up.
You will be arrested if you refuse to identify.
See, and you're violating my rights to be free.
Okay, I understand.
To walk here, to stand on the land of God.
Okay, I understand, sir.
Father, forgive them for what they do not know what they're doing.
If you just move over to one side, obviously, well, not in the group, you can stand over there at that point, just not in the group right now with everyone else.
You're forcing me.
I'm asking you.
Well, you're not asking me because you're forced.
Okay, sir, at this point right now, I'm going to ask you one more time for a name, or are you going to disperse at that point?
I'm son of God.
Okay, sir. No identification, so I'm going to have to, unfortunately, going to have to arrest you for
So you're under arrest,
See?
put your hands behind your back, okay?
See, and that's...
Under arrest for obstructing police.
Why is he being arrested?
My friends, don't be afraid.
Officer, what is the charge that you're arresting him for?
He'll advise you when he's released at that point.
Don't be afraid.
I can't speak on his private, in regards to his private matters.
But it just seemed to me a citizen standing by himself in the shadow of the cenotaph.
Sir, if you want to ask about his issues, you can talk to him after this, or you can talk about the arrest with him after he's released, okay? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time.
You're violent.
You have the right to talk to anyone.
I have not been created any violence to you or anyone.
For assistance. 1-800-365-0451. This number that put you in contact. The legal aid due to cancer lawyer for free legal advice right now. Do you understand?
Your courts are liars.
Do you wish to call a lawyer now?
No. I'm son of God.
Do you understand what I read you?
Vengeance is mine.
Would you like me
God
to read
said.
Sir, do you have anything on you that's sharp?
That's silly questions, my friends.
That's going to hurt us.
Your body, I mean my body, it's yours now. It belongs to you. You can do whatever, but I'm not gonna give you my soul. My friends, don't have fear. Fear is not of God. Fear is not of God. All prophets came before me, and they will come after me. I'm not fear.
Sir, have the police told you why they're arresting you?
Just for not obeying them.
And how did you disobey them?
I said, I came here on my own. I walk here on my own. Nobody can push me from the God land.
And that's apparently against the law in John Tory's Toronto now.
Yep, I think so, but I follow eternal law of love, and they're full of law of violence, and that's what violence is. They're using force on innocent people, that's all.
Please get in touch with us after you get released, sir.
Sorry, excuse me, we're just going to need to make a little room here, okay, guys? Thank you.
Well, there's the first catch of the day. Like I said in the introduction, folks, it literally is like a pride of lions picking out, cherry picking certain members of the herd that they're going to arrest. And I saw everything go down. This gentleman in this paddy wagon now, he seemed to be just quoting biblical passages. I guess that's illegal in John Tory's Toronto and Doug Ford's Ontario. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it, folks. Well, folks, it's deja vu all over again. I feel like I'm in Etobicoke in late November when John Tory sent in the mounted unit. That's right, all the King's men and all the King's horses to shut down a restaurant, Adamson's Barbecue. Well, if you can believe it, they are here at Queen's Park. Already, the police seem to outnumber the protesters. That's the one on the bicycles. They won't talk to me, as you saw. So maybe we can find out what the horsemen are here for. Let's go ask them. Hey, officers, can any of you tell me why people are being arrested here? Guys, can any of you tell me why people are being arrested just for speaking their minds? Any of you? Were you the guys that went to Adamson's Barbecue back in November? Well, as they say down at Woodbine Racetrack, and they're off. I guess they got a walkie-talkie call. Someone's probably illegally opened a barbecue joint. Well, folks, the protesters have moved north of Queen's Park to 1 Bedford. This is the luxury condo where John Tory lives. Well, we think he's living there. He might be at his luxury Keswick cottage, or he might be at his $10 million mansion in Florida. It's like a game of Where's Waldo. You'll never see the mayor address these people, of course. He's tucked away up in the penthouse, presumably. But interestingly, we just heard a broadcast of Kellyanne Wolf, and she's not here, but she seems to be sending in her words via Bluetooth. Now the police are descending. Oh, there she is, actually. I think that's Kellyanne. Is that Kellyanne? No. False alarm. Well, folks, this young man is the second arrest that we've witnessed today. We're outside of 1 Bedford, John Tory's luxury condominium building. Again, I don't know what he did aside from waving the provincial flag of Newfoundland. Maybe that's a crime in Toronto or in Ontario these days, who knows? And he has a little megahorn. So I think my hypothesis is coming true. You are criminalized if you are a big mouth in Toronto these days. If you're waving a flag or displaying a sign or amplifying your voice, that is almost a certain bet you're going to be arrested. Arrested for what? That's the question, and I can hardly wait till some of these cases get to court. When they said, here's the ticket, what is the reason you're getting a ticket? You are part of a group.
We're running a red light.
Running a red light?
Running across the red light. Red light, yeah.
Jaywalking?
Jaywalking, yes, absolutely, yeah. But I know it's not jaywalking. No, definitely not.
Wow.
Stop, please. Stop.
He was just taking a picture.
I live here. I have an interest to take a photo. Like, I live here. I have an interest to take a photo. So, isn't he supposed to be there, like, just looking out? Make sure nobody.
Okay, but that's public safety as well when you're driving is on your cell phone. Distracted driving.
I just took a photo. I live here.
But you can't be on your phone while you're operating a motor vehicle.
I know, but like, can you just tell me that instead of scaring my daughter in the car? She's 5 years old. He's making it look like it's a crime scene going on.
Sir, we explained to you.
He's being overzealous. He's supposed to just be standing, doing what the duty is today, not this.
Okay.
I'm gonna John Tory lives there. I'm gonna make sure you know what? I'm gonna get his information.
Get his info on the ticket.
Because he's being overzealous, and that's not his duty right now.
Excuse me, sir. Would you like to tell us what happened to you here?
I live here. I took a photo of these guys standing here. This one runs across the street, like it's a crime scene. The one in Takano, now I'm getting a ticket for taking a photo of my house.
Wow. And you know, it's kind of funny because just a few days ago, Councillor Paula Fletcher was doing a Zoom meeting while driving, and she only got, I guess, verbally chastised.
You're driving and you're voting on your phone.
You can't vote while you're driving a motor vehicle.
I'm not holding the phone. You're looking at me.
But you actually got a ticket.
You should go talk. You know what? You should be talking to him. That one right there.
They don't talk to us, unfortunately.
Get back in your vehicle, sir. It's not safe.
We have a program called Fight the Fines. If you want to, we can take on your case. We can put you in touch with a top-notch criminal lawyer. We will crowdfund your legal fees. What do you think about that?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay then, fantastic.
Let me just think about it here a little bit. And I don't know too much about the system around here in Toronto, Ontario, sadly. If there's anything that one of your colleagues can speak with me about, you can keep me in touch too.
Please go to our website, fightthefines.com, fill it out, and we're happy to represent you. That was no crime you committed. And folks, we are taking on hundreds of cases. We are doing the work of the Canadian Civil Liberties Association. All they're concerned about is getting offenders, including violent and sexual offenders, out of prison. So I guess they can make room for otherwise honest citizens like Andrew here to go into prison. If you would like to help us with our legal fees, please make a donation by going to fightthefines.com. Well, folks, as you saw in John Tory's Toronto in 2021, go for a walk in the park, get thrown in a paddy wagon. If you have had your charter rights trampled on in the name of the Wuhan virus, please reach out to us at fightthefines.com. That's fightthefines.com. Let us know about your case. If we think it has merit, we'll get you in touch with a top-notch criminal lawyer, and we shall crowdfund your legal fees.